Welcome to the next room. Yeah. Welcome to the next room. From the field on my way to the next room. Welcome to the next room.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Next Row. Today, this guy needs no introduction. Played in the NFL for many years. Please welcome my brother, my friend, Ndamukong Suh.
What's going on, Vernon, man? How are you?
Suh, what's going on with you, my brother?
Nothing much, man. Living life and excited to jump on your pod. I appreciate you joining on mine.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, we got to look out for each other. You know how it go.
For sure.
Yeah. So, Suh, let me. You grew up in Portland, Oregon, right?
Yeah, born and raised in Portland, Oregon, to two amazing parents. My mom Jamaican, my father Cameroonian. So in my eyes, lots of rich culture and Pacific Northwest, nothing like it. Rainy and cold during the winter, and some beautiful summers, and lots of greenery in the spring and late summer. So no complaints.
But y'all didn't have they don't make helmets in Portland, Oregon, do they? So how did football come up?
They make helmets there. We're not known for it. We're a little bit more known for basketball than we are for football. Especially you got the Terrell Brandons, the Kevin Loves, that are most notable from the basketball world. But yeah, football is few far in between. Myself and a couple other guys have made it out and done some stuff. Kendrick Bourne is one of those guys that are originally from Portland, Oregon, played for the San Francisco 49ers, followed in your footsteps. And I think another notable guy probably, I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's tough. We don't have a lot. We got some good kids that have come out of obviously the University of Oregon, but that's collegiate.
Nice. And growing up in a multicultural background, how did that help shape you as a child growing up?
I think it shaped me at looking at life a lot differently. I think from a perspective of I didn't grow up in the true African American, for lack of better words, culture. It's more so the Cameroonian culture where my dad directly came from, my mom from Jamaica. So being able to kind of have those heritages not far removed from me, and kind of knowing where my lineage comes from. I remember as a young kid going to African meetings, Cameroon, Nigerian meetings, understanding the nuances of what it is to grow up in that tradition. And that's really all I knew as a young kid. And so that was my ethos of not necessarily a lot of kids have their backgrounds from the southern part of the U.S. versus I'm directly from Western Africa from that perspective.
Okay. And what parts of your heritage do you carry with you? Like, I mean, because you have it seems as if you have a wide range of just heritage within you. Like, which parts do you take with you?
Yeah, I think I'm most closely and was mostly integrated with the Cameroonian culture, and my dad was very big in instilling that into both me and my older sister, who I grew up with. I've got 6 siblings, but only me and my older sister share a mother. From that perspective, we both have obviously same dad from that standpoint. But yeah, the Cameroonian culture is primarily what I grew up in and around, and really what I take a lot of pride in as a young man. And then obviously I have a very unique name. So people always ask me where it comes from, what's the meaning behind it, which is House of Spears. And so I hold it very closely to me from that standpoint. And I think that's one of the reasons why I have such a strong bond with that heritage. And it's something that I'm named after my great grandfather, who was a police chief back in Cameroon, Africa. So I'm technically named after a street at the end of the day.
When you were a kid, were your dreams to always play football?
Absolutely not. I had honestly no clue of, as we call it, American football. I grew up in and around soccer, which is European football. And my dad played professionally overseas in Germany at a young age. So I came out of the womb understanding that soccer was my first love of sport. And as I grew up, playing it at the age of 3, and then I stopped playing around 8th grade. It was a
Mhm.
little too physical for other kids, as a nice way to put it. My parents let me play 8th grade tackle football, and I took a liking to it, and I didn't get in trouble for knocking other kids over like I did in soccer. So I definitely enjoyed it. But yeah, I grew up playing soccer at a young age, and I owe a lot to that game because I think not only my hand-eye coordination, but also my footwork, all those different particular pieces, and were a big part of my success in the sports world.
No, that's amazing. And so you got to tell me this. I've been wondering. Now that you bring this up, we're talking about you as a child and things of that nature. But I read a comment. Someone said you came out the womb. You were like 14 pounds when you were born. Is that true?
Uh, I wasn't quite 14 pounds. I was
Yeah,
10'6".
but look, I knew it. I said, hold up, man. This man wasn't no 14 pounds when he came out the
Yeah.
womb. There's no
No,
way.
no, no. My God bless my mother. But yeah, no, I wasn't 14 pounds. I was 10'6". I was a big baby,
Yeah.
and a long baby. I don't remember how many inches I was, but I was definitely a large child, and came out ready to eat with my hand in my mouth, saying I'm hungry.
Did you come out with a chicken wing or a steak? Which one was it?
Most likely steak, high protein, but I mean, it was one of those things I was always eating. I got pictures of my mom, has pictures of me as a young kid reaching into the garbage can to pick out old yogurt just to eat it because I was so hungry. So I was a big kid, always eating, and I don't know if you remember those jugs of 2 gallons of milk that sits in the
Mhm.
fridge, that wouldn't last more than a couple days in our house. I would destroy that, and so I was a big eater as a young kid.
No, that's amazing. Now you made some great moves in your life, and that's why we're sitting here today because you're a very interesting guy to talk to. For me, so you can probably attest to this. It was different for you, but I realized the moment football was for me when I was in 8th grade. I played
Uh,
that year. I went to a school called McFarland. I played that year in tennis shoes, and I probably had one of the most memorable moments when it comes to my football career. But that's when I noticed I was like, "Hey, football is for me." Because when I was a kid, I was a kind of claustrophobic. I didn't want to wear the helmet, so it took me a
yeah.
little while to warm up to the game. What was that moment for you?
I think the moment for football for me, early on in my career, I'd probably say, right around my junior, senior year of high school, and going really into that senior year of high school, where I went to these Nike combines, and I went to Texas A&M, I went to Stanford University, and then I did the last one at the University of Oregon. But when I went to Texas A&M and my uncle took me down there, I was like, man, these kids is big down here in Texas, and but they weren't that far off of how big I was, and I could run just as fast as them. I could compete just as competitively as them, and that was something that gave me confidence to be able to say, like, this is a sport that I love, and I could actually get into school to go for free because I was really all I was looking at football as was a free education from that standpoint. Watching my older sister play soccer, she went to Mississippi State, she got a full ride. Graduated in kinesiology and biological sciences, so she's super smart. And I was just trying to fall in her footsteps. And I always spend two weeks out of the summer with her, so that was my focus and how I said, all right, I can take football and really leverage it from a standpoint of getting a great education and going to a great university. So I probably say my junior and senior year, or going into my senior year.
Or junior, senior? Okay, don't go into your senior year. That's kind of late, isn't it? Isn't it late? You feel like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, it was late. I was a late bloomer because my I played 8th grade, and then my mom didn't allow me to play freshman year because she was like, "You gotta prove to me that you can, have the grades in high school to play, and maintain and focus from that standpoint." So I
mm,
didn't play freshman year, and sophomore year of high school I ended
mhm.
up playing offensive guard primarily, a little bit of defense here and there, and then it wasn't until my junior year they said, "All right, you can play, and you can play defense and offense, because you don't get to be specialized like you are now in in this day and age." And so I took a huge liking to playing D line, interior, and especially end, and had a lot of fun with it.
When did so okay, that makes sense. And did you have a lot of offers? How many offers did you have?
So my junior year after I left those combines, that's when I got a lot of interest. I started getting offers across the country. I mean, pretty much all of the Pac-12 offered me at that standpoint, except for I think USC, because USC was like, "We're going to offer you if you accept," and I was like, "I'm not going to commit to you guys right away. I want to be able to test the waters." And then Nebraska, Miami, a bunch of schools came out of the woodworks going into my senior year. So that was great.
Mhm.
But I had no clue ultimately where I wanted to be. And my top five schools that it came down to were Mississippi State, Oregon State, University of Cal, Nebraska, and Miami. And I ended up kind of toggling between at the very, very end between Nebraska and Cal because they had great engineering programs. And I ended up obviously going with Nebraska.
Nice, very, very nice. And then you make a career, you make yourself known while at
Yeah.
Nebraska,
Yeah.
and had a great career in college, and then all of a sudden now it's time for you to get drafted. Like, what was that
Yeah.
moment like?
Yeah, being drafted, I think the best thing about Nebraska is I was in a fishbowl at that university, and being in that fishbowl prepared me to be in a fishbowl of the NFL and being in a high profile situation, being a top draft pick. And I knew going into my senior year of college that I was going to most likely have the opportunity to be a top five pick, let alone to be a top three pick. And I had put my name in the hat to come out early because I was trying to gauge whether or not, uh, 2009 or 2000 or 2010 was going to be the last year of kind of the uncapped years. And so I put my hat in an '09. I was competing against BJ Raji, who I think first went ninth overall in that draft. And there was a couple other guys, I think two other D tackles that went first round. And they marked me as late first round. And I was like, I don't think I can come out and beat some of those guys out, even though I had the confidence to. But you kind of know once you're slotted, you're kind of slotted. You're not going to move too much unless you have a crazy combine year. So fast forward, 2010 was going to be the last uncapped year. So I decided to go back to school. Plus, my mom put something on my table that I did not expect, which was, or let me say, I expected it, but I didn't expect for her to put it as firmly as she put it. She was like, "Hey, if you leave school early, your butt's coming right back to finish this at some point in time." And I said, "Mom, if I leave school, I'm not coming back. So I might as well just take my senior year and just finish up." So she made my decision super easy for me from that standpoint, and it was an uncapped year in 2010. So I just came back and played my senior year, and I think that was one of the best but toughest decisions of my life to be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm always intrigued with stories of athletes getting drafted, or just the story before they get drafted, because I know that was pretty funny what you just told me. My grandparents, I sat them down my junior year, and it's my
Mhm.
grandmother, my granddad, they both raised me and my six siblings. And I said, Mom, Dad, I'm leaving school early. There's a chance I can make a lot of money. And it's like, but the
Mhm.
granddad, why would you do that? Why would you leave early? You sure
Mhm.
you can make a lot of money? I was like, yeah, I can make a lot of money. I got a good grade on my draft.
Yeah.
Um, and it was just I just go back to that moment all the time. I revisit it because it's just like a funny moment. Then when I do get drafted, it's like, okay, now we'll believe you. It
Yeah.
happened.
And it's crazy because my parents, like, I remember looking at them throughout that entire process. They were like, we understand it, but we really don't believe it until we actually see it come to fruition. And that was exciting just to see everybody that was, I mean, I have a very close, tight knit family, and their joy on their faces to see me get drafted and pushing all of that success forward and propelling our family like was a lot of fun, and be able to see the joy on their faces. And I mean, Radio City Hall is an amazing experience in itself.
Yeah, no, it really was. So now you, just like all of the great athletes, right? You're in NFL, you become so dominant. Like when people talk about defensive linemen in the NFL, your name always come up. Like when did you
Yeah.
realize to take over the game?
I mean, that's a great question to be able to take on. When did I know I could take over the game? I would
You've
probably,
been there before, Sue. I know you have, because I've had moments too when I get in the zone, man. It's like that
yeah,
zone. A lot of people don't find the zone. You know what I'm talking about, where nobody can tell you anything. Like nobody can stop. You
yeah,
feel like you go out there and you can beat that entire team by yourself. You know what I'm talking
yeah.
about.
No, and I referred to it as flow state, and I'm gonna steal this from somebody I recently had on my podcast. But flow state is one of those things where, like you said, at any particular moment in time, any part of the game, you know, and have an inkling of what's going to happen, and your intuition is like through the roof of understanding all those different pieces based on all your studying, uh, and all the like cheat codes and all those different particular pieces. And I would probably say right around my 3rd and 4th year in the league, I started to really feel that. Like, I knew I was physically gifted. I knew I
Mm,
could execute at a high level, game plan-wise, but that 3rd and 4th year were, like, it
mm.
was a different trajectory of being able to say, "Man, like, I really understand the game now. I really understand how I fit into this system, and also what are all the other guys around me that are doing." And I got that from really my senior year in college, and Carl Pelini was the best at this. He was our defensive coordinator at Nebraska. He taught me my junior year going into my senior year how to understand the defense and offense and how all the pieces fit together. And that's where I was able to have that success against University of Texas my senior year because I knew what they were doing and I knew where I could cheat in my defense. I knew where people were going to pick up the pieces and where I could change different puzzles to it. So taking that same concept and then now applying that to a 4-3 defense within under Jim Schwartz and attack and play the run on the way to the pass to the quarterback, like it was a whole different ball game. And you had a lot of great D tackles that you played with in San Francisco that I definitely watch them in a lot of different ways to be able to see how they've had that same success because I wasn't afraid to be able to steal other people's success.
No, no, absolutely. No, that makes a lot of sense. No, you described that correctly. And now, for me, I've been retired for what, 6 years now? I don't
Yep.
miss it. You know, I don't wanna preparation, just everything that goes into being a great football player. I mean, it's a lot, and I don't think sometimes people don't understand how much work we put in, from, all year round. I mean, it's an all year round thing. We come on the schedule, then when it's time to go to mini camp, training camp, and all those different things. We're ready, we're prepared for it. Um, do you miss that?
Not 1 ounce. Somebody asked me the other day, I forgot where I was going, I was
Mm,
traveling somewhere, and they asked me, "Do you miss the game?" And I was like, no, I truthfully don't. And the reason why is because I was blessed enough to not have to be kicked out of the game. I got to leave on my own terms. I think that last year that I was with Philly, and I got to go in halfway through in the 22-23 season and then play my last game in the Super Bowl, even though we lost, it was one of the best ways to ride off into the sunset. Obviously, been a much better if we would have won that Super Bowl and I would have had 2 rings and left the game from that perspective. But I had nothing left for me to try and go and accomplish. Yes, earn another ring, get as many more championships, but I have all the individual accolades. I've been able to be a pinnacle part of a winning team and winning a Super Bowl, and I've been on elite defenses that have set records. So, what more can you ask for from that perspective? But also, fast forwarding, like you mentioned the grind and the understanding of what all goes into it. I'll never forget these words that Tony Gonzalez had on Jim Rome. He was like, I could play this game probably for the rest of my life physically, but mentally, I don't think I can. And that's the same thing. The focus, the desire, the 6 a.m. workouts, all these different pieces, that grind mentally is a lot. And to be able to can do that year after year after year after year, at some point in time, you got to be able to find other passions. Truthfully, my passions are 2 amazing little boys that I got that are about to turn 5 at the end of this month, and my beautiful wife that, we argue and fight in a lot of good ways, but we're building something special as a family here, down in Texas and in Portland and through and through.
man, you just made me cry, man. You can't see the tears, but right now. That's so beautiful, man. That's so cool, man. That's what makes you a dynamic human being, and that's why you're great to
Thank
talk
you.
to. You um no, you couldn't have said that any better, man. Like just that grind, that preparation, like even just getting ready for prepared for practice and the games, that's one thing, but then you got the recovery part. Like the recovery is just as essential as it is to prepare for the game. I mean, you know what I mean? It's a
I'm
lot, man. It's a lot.
It's a lot, and people don't realize, I remember vividly, my boys were 2 years old,
Mm,
sitting in Philadelphia, we had a great little setup there, and I'd be in the basement for like 5, 6 hours after I
Mhm.
left work at 12 p.m. I wouldn't get done with my recovery and prehab and all the different things that I had to do, from dry needling, pumping, like all the different pieces that I do, getting in the hyperbaric chamber after I did my dry needling for at least 45 minutes to an hour, like getting my Normatex, doing these different things left and right. Those 5, 6 hours before dinner started, my boys are, Dad, can we play? Can we do this? Can we cars? Like, nah, I'm busy. I got to do these different things. And it was fortunate if I got to watch them play on the play structure right in the room right next door. But like, I don't have to do that anymore. I still train, I still work out, but it's an hour, hour and a half, first thing in the morning, 5, 6 o'clock, and then I got the rest of the day to do whatever. I can take an entire day off and be at the rodeo down here in Texas like I was on Wednesday, or I could be in St. Louis like I was yesterday, or I could be at home talking to you on a podcast. So I can mold my days how I want to, which I love this opportunity and where I sit in life right now.
No, absolutely. And a lot of guys, you know, are not as fortunate as uh some people, and they can't really utilize the resources on the outside of the facility. Like, you know, we have
Yeah.
certain things inside the facility, from trainers to dry needle and things of that nature. But when I left that facility, I always had my things. Like, I had my own dry
Yeah.
needle, I had my own massage therapist, I had my laser guy, I had my guy who was helping me with like balance and things of that nature. Like, we all had different people outside of that, but that's the reason why we're able to play as long as we played and have
Yeah.
the success we had. You know what I mean? You gotta have those things, man. You gotta
It's
have them.
you bring up something that is so important, and it's that people think that, yes, the NFL is amazing. There are some great organizations that have amazing athletic trainers and all these ancillary pieces to help you be successful as an athlete, but they can't help all 53, let alone 46, but then during camp, 90 plus guys be at their peak. So if you don't take the time and energy to go and focus and find the other people that can help you build and have that longevity throughout a career, your odds of lasting and playing more than 4 or 5 years start to dwindle very, very fast. Also,
Mhm.
guess what? I want to have my own team because then they're fully dedicated solely to me and only me, and I'm paying for that. But then guess what? I now, when I am retired and I'm 3 years removed from the league, hey, I'm still with my guy, with my PT. I'm still with my naturopath. I still get programs from my performance director, although they're tailored for me not to gain 4 and 5, 6 pounds of muscle every single month. It's I'm maintaining and understanding where I need to be from that standpoint. So I think that's something that people don't realize. It's you should have these teams not only when you're playing at high performance, but also as you're growing up as an adult.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you can go out and be the dominant guy that you can be, you know, with everything that you've been able to assemble. Uh, I'm gonna switch gears on you for a minute. You played against some
Yep.
of the best offensive linemen in the league. Like,
Yeah.
who was the best that you've gone up against? Like, what guy was that?
Oh, at the very, very beginning of my career, Leonard Davis. I mean, he
Mm.
was an absolute monster to deal with, him and Doug Free. And I was fortunate enough, we were teammates later on, late in his career. In like my second or third year, he came up to Detroit. So I got to meet him and hang out with him a little bit from that standpoint. But I've always had a lot of respect for Marshall Yanda. He was one of those guys in Baltimore, had been doing it for a long, long time, technician. And he was a one guy from a I don't think he could ever hold me down one on one on a consistent basis, but he definitely gave me some good run for my money. I was a little mad at him when he went to the left side in Baltimore and didn't stay on the right side to go against me. But then also, I'd say Kyle Long, man, got a lot of respect for him. I wish he had a longer career, especially when he was with Chicago. But I think Kyle Long was one of those specialty guys as well, super athletic, and we had a lot of good battles going against each other.
And being able to beat your competitor, how much is that mental versus physical?
I think a lot of it is more mental than it is physical. I think we're all very talented from a physicality perspective, but it's understanding how they're positioning and how they have all the advantages from snap count to be able to position themselves, knowing it's run or pass. and deciphering all that as a defensive player on the run and also getting them on their heels and always having them backpedal. So I think it's more mental than it is physical, but I mean sometimes you do just got to use brute strength and just run people over.
But you're still using your mental more than that, right? It all
Yeah,
goes
you
work
Yeah,
together.
you set them up. Like, I mean, I could hit a I could I'm one of the things that I prided myself on early on in the game is that I wanted to, impose my will very early. So, I was a lot of physical rushes, through the chin, through the shoulders, inside or outside, and then I would switch it up and do quick moves and get inside and out, and then also catch them on their heels thinking that I am gonna do a finesse move, and then I just hit them with power and kinda go from there. But it's one of those pieces is like, as you understand the game and the more you get into it, the more it slows down and you can see the different nuances to find ways to find keys to take advantage of them. And it doesn't always come from offensive linemen. There was a key that I had on Matt Ryan that I think a lot of elite D tackles have found that when he was under center, you could see when the ball was getting ready to come.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if there was ever a time, I can't remember the time we played it that I actually played against you in the game. It's probably because I was the one that told my coach I was hurt because we were playing against you. I didn't want to go against you, man. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but
Hey,
we
man.
came out to San Fran a couple times. I'm trying to think. You were always, I mean, you were tight end, so you was out on the edges. You didn't get too much in the mud of the interior line,
Oh,
unless you
they
were
had that
chipping
play.
somebody.
Trust me, they had the play where I had to stop in like the A or B gap, and then I lead up through there on a guy like you. You know what I mean? Like I nah, coach, I'm hurt this game. Like, you're not putting that on me. Uh-uh.
Or I think your coach probably did you a favor and said, "Hey, man, we're gonna take that play out for this game.
Yeah,
We just
yeah,
gonna
coach.
double
I
team
ain't built
him,
like that,
and you
coach.
go find a linebacker."
Yeah, I know the storm, but I ain't built like that, man. I ain't about to go up against this guy right here. This guy came out the womb eating chicken wings, man. Come on, coach.
For sure.
So, what player is there a player that reminds you of yourself?
Currently that's playing.
Yeah, like it could be now or in the past, like when you were playing.
Uh,
Somebody, anybody.
yeah, I would probably say I emulated my game, after Reggie White, as a young player watching his old film. I would say Howie Long as well was another guy that I like to master my game after. And then, especially his get off, I got a lot of respect for Warren Sapp and what he was able to accomplish, at a three technique position. So I'd probably say from those three old school guys, I watched a lot of their film and how they created and changed the game, and that was ultimately one of the things that I really prided myself on and wanting to come into this league and
Mm.
not only impose my will, but be a game changer and have to be accounted for. And a couple people that really instilled that into me, even though I didn't watch a ton of their film, because I was fortunate enough to actually have them coach me and teach me at a young age, which was Russell Maryland and Charles Haley. So both those guys as a young pup, they took me underneath my underneath their wings and showed me the ropes of how to be a dominant player.
Man, you talk about Howie Long's get off, man. Did Chris Long take after his dad and get up and use the same get off because he was tough. He was tough to go
Yeah,
get off that
for
rock.
sure, man. There's
Oh,
some special in them long jeans, whether it's
oh,
Howie, Chris, or Kyle. So they're definitely special because they're all quick twitching. They all got something that they're gonna be on top of you quickly.
mm-hmm. Yeah, quick. I couldn't stand. We used to fight all the time, man. This dude was always under my face mask. I'm like, dude, how you? It was crazy. But
Yeah.
guys like yourself, y'all love picking on quarterbacks. What quarterback
Yeah.
did you enjoy sacking the most?
I mean, definitely Aaron Rodgers. I love pissing him off. That was absolutely the best. And then when I went and played for Miami, and it seemed like throughout my entire career, except for when we were teammates, I was always playing against Tom Brady. So loved hitting Tom, especially when I was in Miami. We had that rivalry there. They could almost never beat us at home, and if they were it came down to the wire, to say the least. So I would say Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, two great quarterbacks. I love going against Matt Ryan. Um, but yeah, Aaron Rodgers was always the favorite to hit.
Aaron Rodgers. Okay,
Mhm.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
You've okay, now, you played the game, you've done a lot, and all of a
Yep.
sudden you win the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. What did that moment mean for you?
Honestly, it was, one of the greatest moments of my life, and I was exhausted from a mental aspect, but also a physical aspect, and I was planning on going out that night, but ended up not going out. My wife was,
Mhm.
shoot, 8 months pregnant, and, we were getting on a plane later on that week to head home. We'll pick up her little sister and then head home, to the West Coast to have our boys, but it was amazing to be able to bring those boys into the world as champions,
Mhm.
but I was able to accomplish and be a part of, and a true cornerstone of bringing a championship to Tampa and break a record of being the first ever team to do it at home. It was 2020, 2021 season was a great year, as an individual and as a collective, from a team orientation standpoint and a family standpoint.
Mhm. No, that's amazing, man. I remember when I won the Super Bowl in Denver, it was,
Mhm.
I forgot about everything else that I did. It was just something special about that moment. Watching that confetti fall down and being there celebrate with my teammates like Peyton Manning, DeMarcus Ware, Demaryius Thomas, just watching and Von Miller, just all these guys who were special to the team. We just took it all in, man, and it was just an amazing moment.
Yeah, man, it's one of those special moments I don't think people really understand. And yes, the Super Bowl happens every single year, but it's different each and every single year of what those teams have to go through and how they've gone through those trials and tribulations to be able to earn, because I mean, nobody goes into that game feeling good. You're banged up, beat up, you played 17 plus games, 6 plus months of hard work, and you finally reach this pinnacle, but can you actually close the deal out? And then to be able to close it out, like, that is one of the biggest joys, and that a human, and let alone, an adult and young man, can do together with a team that will never ever be the same ever again.
You right about that, man. You see, you don't see see, that's the moment you don't think about. You don't think about how important this moment is right now today, because this
Yep.
team that you have today, right now, won't be the same team next year. It's a
Yeah.
possibility that that will happen. I mean, people get
I
hurt, they get, they
I mean,
get, you put them on IR, or, people requesting to, be, to get paid more. Now you got to let them go.
yeah.
Like, thing could
Yeah.
happen. Maybe there's one of the top players on your team who decides that, okay, he don't wanna play the same like he played last year. You know what I mean? Like a lot
Man, you
watch it
look at it
happen.
like this.
It happens all the time.
You look at it like this. Seattle Seahawks just won. Their MVP of the game, Smith Walker, the running back, is
Mm,
asking, I believe, for 12 to $13 million a year. Deservingly so. Why not get a bag while you just won MVP of the Super Bowl, but the team reportedly says, "Hey, you're not worth this, at least to us. Go to the open market, and if you can get it, great. If you can't, come back and have a conversation with us." Your
mm,
MVP of the Super Bowl, the most important game you just won, you're letting that guy walk away?
mm.
That's a business.
Yeah, that's unbelievable right there. $18 million a year.
Yeah.
I mean,
As a running back, man.
that was like a signing bonus for me when I first got drafted, but now these guys are, like, actually making that a year, like, you know what I mean?
Man, I was blessed to be able to break some records and be a highest paid defensive player, and I was 20 million a year in 2015 when I signed that. Chris Jones is making 31.5 million a year right now as a DT. So times have changed.
Like, I mean, like, so if you're making $13 million a year, what's the signing bonus look like? Just like initially, like you get a lump sum, right? Like,
I I I mean, you look at that from a standpoint of it's a 4-year deal. What is that? $52 million or something like that. So signing bonus, let's just say half of that is guaranteed. 25, 30 million fully guaranteed. That's a nice deal.
that's a nice chunk of change. Show
Yeah.
me the money.
Yes, sir. Back up the
Yeah,
Brinks truck.
that is crazy. And a lot of athletes, these athletes, they get that money, they get it, and then they really don't know what to do with it. A lot of people put it in
Yeah.
the bank. People, after they're done playing the game, they think about it. But for you, you started early. You didn't think about
Yeah.
business after you finished playing football. You started early because you understood the importance of planting seeds right now. Like, what was that mindset for you?
I mean, honestly, that mindset was super, super early on in my career, even before I got into the league. A guy named Joe Moglia,
Mhm,
who's the chairman of TD Ameritrade, happened
mhm,
to be our assistant defensive coach at Nebraska. And we built a relationship. And right when I was leaving school, he brought me up to his office in Omaha and showed me his personal budget and a budget sheet that I still use to this day that really exposed me to the financial world and what it was like and what I was getting ready to come into. And he said, like, yeah, you're spending $500 to $1,000 a month right now. You're going to be spending 50 to $100,000 a month. And I'm like, absolutely no way. And he's like, just trust me. Like, just let's go through this exercise. And he gave me an assignment. And this assignment I went through, I came back and I brought it to him. And I was like, this is kind of where I envision my life of where if I could have everything I wanted to. And it's like, well, this is a possibility and it can happen really, really soon. And you need to be prepared to handle this from a financial perspective and put it all together. So not only from Joe Moglia, but Gary Schiffman, Warren Buffett, all these guys that became my mentors, I learned very, very early on what I wanted to be involved in. And I got to test the waters to not only understand like what real estate investing is like, private equity, venture capitalism, and also just the everyday markets. I owe a lot to my folks that I work with, even to this day. A guy named Todd Perry that has supported me and taught me to what the markets are like and how they work and how you can leverage them. I mean, so to me, it's very, very. I have a really good core group of folks that I can lean on when it comes to financials, and also being having the willingness to learn as well is, I think, a big advantage. A lot of people don't
yeah,
want to learn.
yeah, you've built an impressive portfolio. What industries excite you most?
I think the most exciting industry for me is without question real estate. No matter what you're involved in, there's some sort of real estate. So people see AI. AI is hot and the sexiest thing that's going on right now. Well, guess what? What does AI need to be built off? They need energy sources. They need these data centers. That's all real estate. Hospitality. I love food. I came out the womb eating. Like, what does real estate need, for lack of better words? Even if it's a ghost kitchen, they still need a brick and mortar to set up and build a kitchen, let alone if it's a forward facing, if it's Chick-fil-A or whatever it is. So real estate in that aspect, what do people need from a place to live, whether they're renting, aka apartments, multifamily, or you want to build a house, it's real estate. So like for me, real estate has always been at the core, and where I get that from is not only my father and my mother who had apartments as a young kid. I had to go cut their lawns and saw them deal with the sheriffs and Section 8 folks from that nature. That early on and that exposure showed me what I wanted to be a part of and what I didn't want to be a part of. But then I was fortunate enough to follow my dad's footsteps, who was a mechanical engineer. I went to construction management and I want to use that degree and build stuff. So understanding of trades and how all those pieces come together, and then also being able to have the financial models to be able to put a performer together to understand what it's going to take to build this from scratch or buy something to say, hey, it's going to be cash flow positive. So for me, real estate is everything and it lives everywhere in your life.
Oh, that's pretty amazing. And for a young guy that's coming into the league, what message could you share with him about his finances?
Uh, I think when it comes to a young person and they're coming into the league is be able to save and create. They have these things called 50-30-20 plans. Your wants, your needs, and then obviously your expenses from that standpoint. I think when people focus on those different pieces and then tuck away money for them to be able to start to replace the income that they're making right now with other assets, that's when you're going to find success. But you also be able to be able to understand and saying, hey, do I want to work in
Mhm.
or do I want to just play this sport and just live off that for the rest of my life? Because that's truthfully where a budget's going to come into play. For me as an individual, I was fortunate enough to make a good amount of money.
This is Vernon Davis, and using the internet without ExpressVPN is like taking a call on a train while your speaker is on for everyone to hear. Do you really want the whole train to know your bank account info? Of course not. That's why you need ExpressVPN. It reroutes 100% of your traffic through secure, encrypted servers so your ISP can't see your browsing history. It makes it extremely difficult for third parties to track your online activity, and for U.S. customers only. Select plans include Identity Defender, a new suite of tools to get your data removed from data brokers, alert you when your data appears on the dark web, and even insures you against data theft for up to $1 million. It's also rated #1 by top tech reviewers like CNET and The Verge. With this information, there's no way I'll get on the internet without it. Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/nextroll. That's expressvpn.com/nextroll to find out how you can get up to 4 extra months. Just go to expressvpn.com/nextroll.
But I don't have the desire just to live off of that money. I want to continue to work even though I'm retired for the next 10, 15, 20 years and still bringing in income and adding to my pot and my foundation. And I think that's something, once you build that foundation, don't pull from that foundation. You can leverage it safely to be able to build upon it, but also find a way to always keep that foundation. Because if you can keep that foundation, there's something that's very, very powerful about compounding. The rule of 72. If you don't know what it is, you should look it up.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You hear that? Whoever you young guys are, and you're listening, I really hope you're listening to this episode, because that's powerful, man. You have to pay probably $30,000 to $40,000 to get that kind of information, like just in one day. That's some
Yeah.
powerful information right there. Sue, what is something about you that people would be surprised to know? Maybe,
What is
I don't know,
something
maybe you wear a tutu, or I don't know, like long socks to your kneecap, something. Just give us something.
Man, something that people don't know about me that would surprise them? I mean, that's a really good question. I mean, I don't know. If I had to pick something, I mean, I'm a homebody. I love to sit home and watch movies with my wife and watch shows. But I don't really. I'm a pretty simple person. I love to read contracts and work on business deals. That's what kind of gets my juices flowing and my dopamine in my brain, waking up to work on and build creative things, which I think is something that's known about me and has always been known about me. But I mean, blowing off steam, like I love shooting guns. I mean, clay shooting is a hobby at times for me. But yeah, I'm a pretty simple person, man. I keep it pretty simple. I love spending time with my kids and traveling the world and having experiences as well.
Okay. That's fair enough. That's fair. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I know it's about time for you to get ready to get off of this platform here, but
Yep.
I got one more thing. So just sit tight for me real quick. I know
I
you got.
got you. I'm with you.
All right, look, rapid fire. Got to ask you these questions.
Hmm.
Any given Sunday or Friday night lights?
Any given Sunday.
Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee.
Founder of Uber or Uber Eats? No, founder of Uber or Airbnb?
Ooh, Airbnb.
If you're in your prime, who wins the power slap competition? You or Aaron Donald?
Myself.
If
I've
you
always
could
been on myself.
if you could have 50 million and a Super Bowl, would you rather have 50 million and a Super Bowl, or 300 million with no Super Bowl?
50 million in a Super Bowl. I can turn that 50 million into 300 million easily.
You the
You
first
know why?
person like that. You
You
said
know,
you could
you know,
turn it.
you know why?
Why?
I'm gonna give you an example of Michael Strahan. Probably made around 50 million plus in his career, won a Super Bowl in the city and state of New York, and look how successful he is.
See, I was gonna say 300 million, no Super Bowl, because I figure like I can go have like 7 more kids and then live vicariously through them and win a Super Bowl that way. That's what I was thinking. But
Yeah.
now you got me. Now you got me. I might have to change that, because that sounds powerful. I think I'm gonna go with what you just said, Sue. Sue, look,
Yeah.
man, I appreciate you, man. This was a great conversation. I really thank you for coming. You're an amazing human being, man, and not just an extraordinary football player, but a better person. I'm sure your kids are gonna be very proud of you once they really learn who you are as they continue to grow up. But I appreciate you truly. Thanks for coming on Next Row.
Man, I appreciate you having me. It's a pleasure to talk to you, and we'll catch up here soon, man. We got some stuff to do on HDTV, boss.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right.
All right, Sue. Appreciate you, man.
No doubt, man.
Okay. All right. Bye.
All right. Later.
Welcome to the next row.